G'day again. Hope you're all doing well. If you're just joining us, you've caught me at the right time. I've just finished a bit of a lunch run through the hidden lanes behind the quay, and now it's time to walk it off. Just a quick recap. We started down at Customs House, headed past the Gateway Centre, and ducked into the shadows of Bulletin Lane. From there, we found the first fleet anchor in Macquarie Place Park and took a stroll along Bridge Street to check out the Capellas. Then we finished up in the busy Loftus Lane, and now here we are just after lunch. Now, just across the road on the corner of Phillip and Albert Streets is the old Justice and Police Museum. This place was originally built in 3 stages between 1854 and 1886. It started as the Water Police Court and Station, designed by the famous architect Edmund Blackett. Back in the day, it was a pretty grim spot chock-a-block with petty criminals, drunks and bushrangers. One of the most famous cases here was the mad dentist, Henry Louis Bertrand, who was tried for a bizarre murder back in the 1860s. It was also the site of the infamous shark arm case in the 1930s, where a tiger shark famously regurgitated a human arm and sparked a massive murder mystery. Today, it's a museum where you can actually walk through the old 1890s holding cells and stand in the original docks. It's a pretty spooky look into the city's gritty past, but for now, we're keeping to the sunny side of the street. Let's head up Bridge Street. Check this out. This grand beauty was once the Colonial Secretary's office. It's got a world-first aluminium dome and 9 statues representing justice and wisdom. It was designed by James Barnett, who also did the Lands building we saw earlier. Today, it still houses the Governor of New South Wales. Right across the road there is the Museum of Sydney. It looks modern, but it's actually built right on top of the ruins of the very first government house from 1788. This was the seat of power for the first 9 governors of the colony for nearly 60 years. I actually have another video on the channel where I head inside for a bit of a look around this spot. It's a pretty special feeling knowing you're standing exactly where the first permanent building in Australia once stood. Definitely worth a look if you've got a spare hour. Let's keep moving. Now, this massive sandstone block is the new Capella Sydney. It's a proper 5-star luxury hotel, and it was actually just ranked the best in Australia and Oceania for 2025. If the style looks familiar, that's because it was designed by George McRae, the same bloke who did the QVB. Construction on this first stage started back in 1912, and it served as the Department of Education for over a century before this recent $300 million makeover. It's a world-class bit of heritage right here in the heart of the city. Just down here on the left is the Lands by Capella. It's recently been reborn. It's taken over a decade and hundreds of millions of dollars to restore all this heritage sandstone but they've finally opened it up to the public as a luxury event space and hotel. A bit of trivia for you. Back in the 1980s, there was actually a plan to turn this whole building into a casino. Luckily, that was blocked and it was heritage listed instead. Another interesting bit, this was one of the first buildings in Sydney to use reinforced concrete slabs in its floor. It was cutting edge for 1876. And if you look at the tower, it's got a massive copper dome that starts as a square, turns into an octagon, and ends in a sphere. It's a fair dinkum masterpiece of engineering. Hang on. Wait a sec. We missed something back there in the park. Let's just go back for a second. This sandstone obelisk is one of the most important markers in the country. It was designed back in 1818 by the convict architect Francis Greenway. Legend has it, this is the exact spot where Governor Phillip first raised the Union Jack in 1788. It's also the official 0 point for New South Wales. Every major road leading out of Sydney was originally measured from this very stone. If you look at the base, you can still see the distances to places like Bathurst and Windsor carved into the side. It's a pretty incredible piece of history to just walk past, isn't it? Just on our right here is Customs House. This grand old beauty was built back in 1845, and for over a century, this was the official gateway for every person and every piece of cargo coming into Australia. It actually sits on the site where the first fleet is said to have landed in 1788. It was originally much smaller, but our old mate James Barnett, the same architect who did the lands building, gave it a massive expansion in the 1880s to match the growth of the city. Looking around at the mix of people and architecture today, it really hits home that Australia is a proper melting pot. We've got people here from every corner of the globe, all bringing their own stories and their own food to the table. It's what makes a walk like this so interesting. One minute you're in an Italian laneway, the next you're standing in front of a colonial palace. They call us the lucky country, and looking at these grand sandstone buildings and the life in the streets today, you can see why we've managed to take all that history and turn it into something pretty special. It's a good reminder that as much as we look at the stone and the statues, it's the people that really make the city what it is. Right. That's the Sandstone Precinct done and dusted. If you enjoyed getting lost with me today, do us a favour and smash that like button. It really helps the channel grow. And if you haven't already, hit subscribe so you don't miss the next wander. Thanks for watching, legends. Catch you later. Hooroo.